Hello scholars, welcome. Mr. Hinkle here. We're talking about animals in the ocean, and specifically animals that live in the open ocean, also known as the pelagic environment. Objectives: define pelagic environment. We'll look at pelagic environment zonation, talk about some specific types of marine life in the pelagic environment and adaptations to surviving in these habitats. And then we'll get into briefly discussing some of the threats to pelagic species. So pelagic animals live in the open ocean. If we do our marine diagrams with our three marine provinces, what we have are two environments where marine life can exist. Marine life exists on the ocean bottom. This is called benthic. And then marine life exists, I guess it's a mean looking fish, in the open ocean. This is called pelagic. An animal being an organism that consumes other organisms for its primary source of energy, as opposed to primary producers, which create their own new organic material. So we've got two environments, the ocean bottom and the open ocean. Pelagic is the open ocean. It's the largest habitat on Earth because there's a lot of water. Oceans covering 71% of Earth's surface, land covering 29%. And the open ocean, with its variability, provides a wide range of marine adaptations, mostly floating or swimming, which will take us into two of our types of marine life. But let's do a little bit of classification. So we can look at zonation of the open ocean by depth. Epipelagic is going to be the sunlight zone. Mesopelagic, twilight zone. Bathypelagic is the midnight zone. This all has to do with light. Abyssopelagic and hadalpelagic are going to be the deeper layers with high pressure, no light, and very specialized marine adaptations. Different organisms living in different depths, adapted to the varying conditions of light and pressure available in these specific environments. Our three marine provinces, the continental margin, deep ocean basin, and mid-ocean ridge. Our two marine environments, the benthic environment and the pelagic environment, and our three types of marine life. Benthos, which live in the benthic environment. Nekton, which are marine organisms that propel themselves through the water column, aka swimming. And plankton, which are organisms that float. Plankton, floaters, nekton, swimmers, benthos, bottom dwellers. Primary productivity, phytoplankton, are going to be the base of the marine food web that float in the upper areas of the water column, but we also have animals that will eat them, consumers that are floating. So these are our three main types of marine life, and pelagic animals will be nekton and plankton because the benthos are bottom dwellers. Those are benthic animals. Specific adaptations. Well, it's going to be adaptations to float, or it's going to be adaptations to swim, are going to be the basic ones. So streamlined bodies, reduce drag and swim efficiently, buoyancy to stay afloat. In deeper zones, we have large eyes and bioluminescence. Fish specifically will develop feeding and protection strategies like schooling and migration. There are also more deep sea adaptations. The adaptations for marine life go on and on and on. But they basically have to do with the strategies for survival, for reproduction, and for feeding. And so how, in these various environments, have these different organisms evolve these specific strategies? Well, this is what we'll be getting into when we talk about different types of marine life in future lectures. So the basic food web looks a little something like this. You've got primary producers that use the sun and nutrients to create new organic matter. This is the bottom of the food web. Primary productivity. And then you have primary consumers that eat primary producers. Most often, here we're going to have floating organisms, zooplankton, that are eating the primary producers. On top of that, you've got, so this is going to be first, second, and third. The basis of the food web, we need the highest amount of biomass. Biomass decreases because of the amount of energy that is required from one layer and one level to the next. Now, the pyramid is an awesome way to think about this, but I also like to think about this in terms of these complex food webs, where phytoplankton is the base. Phytoplankton get eaten by krill, which are zooplankton. Krill can be eaten by jellies, by small fish, by turtles. Whales might go straight down to krill. You can have small fish being eaten by larger fish, being eaten by even larger fish, so on and so forth. Corals are surviving off of the phytoplankton, so we have marine, pelagic, and marine benthic organisms, all being supported by the primary producers, but then it's a who's who of who eats who in these marine environments to support marine food webs. But roughly, primary producers, floaters, are eaten by floating animals, are eaten by swimming animals, which might be eaten by swimming animals. All right, big threats to the marine environment. We've got overfishing. We're basically taking too much out of the ocean. Pollution. We're really harming the chemistry. And then climate change. Ocean temperatures and the amount of dissolved carbon dioxide are affecting the ability for marine species to live. These are our big three human impacts to the pelagic environments, and it's worth noting that the ocean is big, it's vast, but it is not immune to harm. In fact, what we do on land has direct impacts on the health of marine ecosystems. That is an important thing to note. Excuse me, a little choked up thinking about harming the oceans. My gosh. All right, so in conclusion, the pelagic environment is the open ocean. We have two types of marine life that live there, nekton and plankton. These marine life have specific marine adaptations to live in these environments in the way that they do, and they are part of marine food webs of how these organisms can eat one another in order to gain the energy required to live in these variable habitats. So, thank you so much. We'll go more in depth on specific types of marine life in the pelagic environment in the next lecture. I'll see you then.